listening to Keith Price's Curtain Call.
Welcome back to yet another episode of Keith Price's Curtain Call, and we are here now this is like now the second episode, as I was telling my guest earlier, in my renaissance and my return to wanting a podcast in spite of the life that I'm having, which is really crazy and kind of chaotic. But because I have now taken this moment to re-engage in a way that I haven't done, I had spent a lot of time meeting some really fabulous, and I'm telling you, fabulous actors and actresses working as an usher in the theater. Now you may think, what is he doing working as an usher? It's like, well, times is hard, that's what I hear every night at Sweeney Todd. Times is hard. Times is hard. So you do what you have to do. And I'm lucky because in that journey of being an usher as well as a comedian, actor, writer, blah, 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 I got to meet some really cool people. And one of them is here today with me, and I'm so excited. Okay, first of all, let me tell you about Miss Salisha Thomas Weiss, if you're nasty. You want to get all up in her business. If you want to get in her business. Miss Salisha and I met one wonderful evening. We were standing up, it was in the mezzanine, I believe it was, at the Marriott Marquis while the show Once Upon a One More Time was running. And she happened to be standing in the back, and I watched her, and she was like, you're doing a lot of hand stuff, following what was the other people were doing. And so, of course, she knows, nosy queen. Who is you? What you doing back here? All the way up here in the mezzanine. And come to find out that Salisha was not only in the show, but she was what they call a swing standby. And in that process of being a swing standby, I saw this woman, and I kid you not, do damn near every Disney princess on that freaking stage, including a wicked stepsister. Let me stop, okay? Don't get me started. Let me tell you something. I have never, in the time that I've spent observing theater and loving theater and being as close to theater as I've become, especially now working front of house, I have never seen an actor do what this young woman did in one show. It's like this young lady, y'all, Salisha Thomas Weiss. Look her up, Miss Salisha Thomas. We like to call her Salish. This Salish, I'm telling you, I watched this girl play every damn princess on stage except for Rapunzel. I don't think I saw you do Rapunzel. That was the only one I don't remember seeing you do. But she did Little Mermaid. She was Snow White. She was what was it? The sleepy one.
Sleeping Beauty.
I can't even remember now. But here's the thing: Sleeping Beauty. These characters were all so definite and so definitive and so different. And to watch this young woman get on stage, some nights not even knowing who she was going to be, and watch her turn out that room, that 1,600 seat room, especially towards the end when the room was getting packed, honey. This young lady was singing her face off along with a cast of face singers. Let me tell you something. And it was the most glorious thing to watch. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I wax on about this fabulous woman, Miss Salisha Thomas Weiss is here with me. Hi, Salish. How you, baby?
Hi. Thank you so much for that intro, Keith. You are awesome.
Oh.
And my heart just was swelling more and more listening to you and remembering being in the theater with you because I was out in the audience.
Yeah.
We were both watching the show half the time.
Gagging. I was gagging towards the end. You know, what I found so fabulous about this show was I went into this show, and I'm not going to lie to you, Salish, because I don't like to lie. I was already covering Sweeney Todd. So I was at Sweeney Todd up until we started previews for Once Upon a One More Time. And all I kept thinking was, I'm really loving my time here at Sweeney, and now I have to go back to my home. This Britney Spears, whatever this is going to be. I was like feeling my theater snobbery, girl. I was all in it. And let me tell you something. I got so turned out by that second or third show when I finally figured out that this was a show about having fun. This was a show that was meant to entertain It should have been promoted as something to empower, but don't, they didn't have me. They didn't ask me that, I just watch the show every damn night. Anyway,
Cass was saying the same thing.
but it was done in such a fun way that once people started clicking into that this was a fun show, it was too late. And so,
yeah.
like I said, I had the time of my life watching that show every night. And of course, some of them dancing boys with some of my little private boyfriends. In my mind.
Get out of here. No, I remember when I first met you, you were like, I don't know about this. What is this? And then, as time went on, it did change. It did feel different. And
yeah.
We had our little family over there.
It was so much fun. And it was one of those experiences that I really, truly treasure, because it was like we were all, like, for me, especially because this was, my second musical that I was working, because I had done Beetlejuice, and then, it's actually my third at Sweeney Todd. And when I came back to the Marquee, I was really hoping to see something different and interesting. And let me tell you something, between the choreography, them voices that y'all were, why is there not a cast album? Let's start off there. Come on, let's talk.
We were wondering, we were waiting. I don't know. It never worked.
Where is the tour? That show, let me tell you something. If you put that show on tour, that show would be popping everywhere, because people would catch onto it. And I think that it would bring such an interesting change, because people would not be expecting it to be that much fun. And that's what I said to somebody the other day, that's what we miss on Broadway. There's not a lot of fun. There's a few fun Spamalot's a lot of fun.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's so good. But I mean, just joyous fun. Like, I'm telling you, that finale moment when everybody's singing and dancing, being at the door watching people bop and jump,
it is fun. All the wristbands turning on, and also circus was also like a bop too. It was fun. Like, I did not like learning it, but dancing, yes, but dancing, it was like a good time. And I agree with you. It was so fun. Where's our tour? Where's our cast album? Where is our show? I feel like we had the perfect recipe for us to have a hit on our hands, and it completely went just the opposite so fast. And the rug got ripped out from under us, and I try not to spend a lot of time thinking about all of the what could have beens, because it will haunt me. Like, why did we open like days after the Tony Awards? That takes a long time for a show to survive to the next Tony Awards.
Exactly.
What is this right now? February? End of February? This is when a bunch of shows are
opening. They're all starting to drop now. Everybody's in previews now, and
for the Tony Awards coming up. We have been here and gone so fast. And so there's just so many things like, and I love Britney. I grew up with Britney. Britney asked for the show, but she was not well and could not be around. But she was behind it, but no one could see it.
Exactly.
No one could see her support.
Yes. That would have been one of the things that would have lifted it. And I'll tell you what the other thing was. The other thing for me was, this was the summer of Barbie. And do you know that every time you go to the movie theater, there's always those short little commercials that they would pop? I said, I guarantee you, if New York City alone, just in the theater space in New York City, if they would have run some of those clips that people had online from that show, like when you guys were doing The Bottom of My Broken Heart, Toxic, all of those numbers that were just amazingly done. It's like if they had a clip of those things and say, at the Marriott Marquis, I guarantee you during that Barbie summer, we would have had a crowd going on the entire summer, because it would have been the perfect match.
Yes, I completely agree. It was match. So similar to the Barbie movie, but we kept taking out more and more of what made it, they're trying to commercialize it as much as they could, but it didn't help. I think like it was so similar to Barbie, but at the same time, just like so unrelated. I'm like, if
Right.
we relate it to this, look, Barbie made $1 billion. Like what? Like the first weekend or something like that? Like,
Yeah.
oh, Keith, there's
Well,
just so many.
well, but that's the conversation that we have to have about, what's art and commerce, because, those producers that, they had to fill a house of 1,600
It's
every
big. The
night.
marquee is big. It's top
It's
4 on
huge.
Broadway.
Yep. And so that's already a uphill battle. The Jonas Brothers sold it out in 5 nights, but they only did 5 nights and they're gone.
Right. And hopefully The
Um,
Wiz, which is going in there later
yes.
next month, I think
Hmm.
they have a limited run.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's scheduled limited
Yeah.
run. So hopefully they're able to sell it out. I hope they do. Like, that'd be
So do
great.
I.
Right, right,
'Cause
right.
I don't know where I'll be after the Wiz, but
I
I'm excited
mean,
about going. But the thing
yeah.
about the Wiz that I'm worried about, because sometimes you have friends that know people that know people, have been to meetings,
Yes.
and there was at some point there was a rumor mill moment. I don't know if it's super true, but at one point they were not thinking about marketing to Black people. I was like, oh, what, you're going to treat us like the Democratic Party and just assume we're going to show up? What's going on?
Was like an actual conversation? Like,
Well, it's I will say that it was third-hand gossip, but it was from very, very reliable sources, of which, is, as a pseudo-journalism person, I cannot reveal. However, the person said to me that the friend was sitting in the meeting, and that's what somebody in the meeting said. And I kept saying, that's probably the same person that said, why do we want to tag this with Barbie? I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm just
It might be the
saying.
same person. I don't know. But I
That
kept
is very
thinking,
interesting. I feel like, um like demographically speaking, most of Broadway audiences are older and white. Yes, we know this. However, there's a lot of Black people in the world that look at the hair care industry.
hello.
If you service the Black community,
They will show
come,
up, honey.
they will show up. People will get their hair done and might not have food on the table because they are going to get the weed. They're going to get all of the things. If you got all the Black people to come out to vote, the ballots are going to shift.
Shift.
If you market don't just assume that because it's a Black show, Black people are going to show up. So I think it would be wise to market to.
To open the conversation of marketing, I would say.
Yes.
But again, I love how you talk about that with how you talk about the hair care industry and stuff, because you, my dear, are the queen of the curly hair now. You let yourself do that. But what's going to be fun is throughout this, because I do it video and then I also have the audio.
Nice.
Those of you who get to see the video will see me dropping pictures of the beauty queen.
Oh,
we're gonna drop pictures of her and her cute man. We're gonna do as we're talking. But one of the things that got me though is like I loved the podcast. Was it Black Hair in the Big League?
Yeah.
So tell me, what is this like for you? Because I feel like, I've caught you now in this particular sector of your transition, but what was it like beforehand? Because, as I said before, Salisha was a beauty queen. She was
right.
Miss California, toss your head, baby.
And you wouldn't catch me with my hair not straight back in the day. I look at those photos now and it is a different person to me. My hair was always pressed. What is it called? Dyed to the side. Something like that. It was always done. If I didn't have it done, I had on my straight hair wigs, which in my opinion were the bomb. It was always just like a very, I don't know, at what I thought of as classic American girl. And I came from a place that was very conservative and a lot of my friends were white. I was always trying to fit into this culture, fit in with my friends. And something happened when I moved to New York.
For all of us, honey, every one of us.
Something happened when I moved to New York and I realized I have a get out of jail free card. I've got a permission slip to be me and to be celebrated for being me. I remember when I was in the fourth grade, not the fourth grade, that's when I first started straightening my hair, but I would get it done like at least once a month, maybe every other week. And I remember getting my hair washed, getting back to the chair and looking in the mirror before the hot tools came out and thinking, man, I love my curls. If only I knew what to do with them.
Wow.
I don't. And so she would straighten it and it would be flowing down my back. And that was the vibe.
Yep.
But when I got to New York and I realized, oh, I don't have to fit in. In fact, you're celebrated for being yourself. It felt very freeing, Keith. And so that was the beginning of all of that. And in 2018, I made a decision. I've made a decision. I'm not straightening my hair for the rest of the year. In January of 2018. And I have not straightened my hair to this day from January of 2018.
Wow.
I've never been a crackhead. I ain't never been an alcoholic, but I can, if it's as hard as it is, if it's hard, I can understand addiction after trying to not straighten my hair because
you had to give it up. Had to give up the hot comb, girl. Woo! Give it up. Let it go. Let it go.
If I saw my friends with a fresh blowout, I was like, oh, do I need to schedule an appointment? Like, it was hard.
But again, you're talking about being in an industry where certain things like that would make you more marketable or would make, you put on a straight head, straight wigged hair or something going down your back, you got Vanessa Williams's old roles. You know what I'm saying? People would think if you put those, that's exactly where they would put you. And, and that's a nice place to be.
That's a nice place to be.
Devils Wear Prada over in London. That's what she's doing. Hello. See, this is because we stay on top of stuff here with
Let's go.
But you, my dear, like, it's wonderful to see you celebrate yourself because and celebrate yourself not in a narcissistic way, but to celebrate the beautifulness of who you are on the outside as well as on the inside. And so when you're thinking about the next steps of roles, what have you been auditioning for? What have you been doing? Because she's been you teach master classes. She has her podcast that keeps her busy. But what are you doing for the art? Because you are a very talented young woman.
That's actually, that question opens up a whole other can of worms, Keith.
I feel like we got time.
Once Upon a One More Time definitely put me in a very interesting position, which is, oh my God, I am stressed. This is a level 10. This is the level 10 stress. I need a break. I've always wanted to be on Broadway. That's why I moved out here from California to New York City to give Broadway the chance. I've now done 2 Broadway shows and a national tour. My soul is fulfilled. I feel really, really grateful for that. But after getting my butt thrown on stage without a rehearsal a few times in lead roles, I look at the industry a little bit differently now. And I am also married to a man who loves to travel, who loves to take vacation, and who loves a good adventure.
Follow her Instagram, y'all. I'm just saying,
Thank you. Yes, Salisha Thomas. I might change it to the Salisha Show, though. But I realize a 6-day-a-week, 8-show-a-week schedule is not conducive to the life I want to lead coming down the line.
Got it.
So I'm in a transition right now of this is something I've always wanted. And now I'm transitioning into, but I kind of want it to look like this thing over here, which I'm not exactly sure what that is. In this transition phase, I've been doing more commercial and voiceover.
Okay.
And I like that. I like being in this little closet working. I can be in my pajamas, camera off, making as much or more money than I was in theater. So, and now it gives me the flexibility to travel, gives me the flexibility to get knocked up.
Is that what you're trying? Oh, are you trying to have a baby?
I didn't say.
Oh my God. Make the announcement on my show, please. I need the press. I need something big.
Can you imagine if I was announcing that right now?
Oh my God. Not even on her own show. She'd do it on mine.
I know. We're thinking about it, but like we're trying to figure out like what can this look like? Because when I moved out here from college, no one ever said, okay, what's your long-term plan? Is it
Right.
jumping from show to show to show? Is it
Mhm.
getting into something like The Lion King and staying as long as I can? What is
Mhm.
I've never thought about it. I moved out here in my 20s and was flying by the seat of my pants. I've been doing that even through the pandemic, and it has worked for me. However, thinking about future me with kids, I don't know if I want to keep flying by the seat of my pants.
Right.
I have friends who do it and they're good at it. But I'm not sure that's what I want.
So you need to have it your way. And that's the beautiful part about you when you talk about, doing all that in your 20s, like that's when you're supposed to do it. That's exactly when you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to be flying at the seat of your pants. You're supposed to be, running around, especially as an actor and a performer. You're just running around because that's all you know how to do
Saying yes
until
to everything.
until something really pops. And then when it does pop, then it's when you have the opportunity to decide what you'd like to do, where you'd like to be. You know, are you gonna be like some of those divas that I don't do 8 shows, I don't do the matinees.
I don't do the matinees.
I do not do the matinees, darling. I can't. Don't ask me.
Don't even think about it.
And I'll need every other Sunday. You know what I mean? Like
and maybe that's a thing. Like, I'm not really sure what it looks like just yet, but it's something I've been praying about. And whenever I go home, back in the day, like in my 20s, if I went home, it was for the holidays. It was because I didn't have a job, and there was shame in that. It was like, I'm here for Christmas, which is a good thing, but my mindset was, I'm here because I'm unemployed.
Right.
Now it's different. I feel like, you know what? I've proved what I need to prove to myself. Right. And when I go home, yes, it's because I'm not working on Broadway, but
it's still part of it. Yeah.
But I don't think of it the same way. I think of it as, I am able to come home right now. What a privilege. Because my parents, they're having their birthdays. Time is moving.
Yep. And when you wind up getting on that treadmill of the 8 show a week or whatever it is, those moments you don't get to have because you are a commodity that belongs to a producer now. So you don't have any say really in how that's going to develop for you. Well, I mean, but this is when you're supposed to do it. You got a cute man. So that's like, check, And when I say cute, he is cute, y'all.
Listen, I found him in the pandemic. I'm like, what? Out of nowhere. And it was because of this podcast. Like, you're starting your podcast, which I'm like, good for you, Keith. Mm-hmm. I think starting your own show, opens up so many doors that you can't even begin to fathom. It gives you access to people. It gives people who would have no business in your sphere, wanting to be in your sphere. Like, I have felt that. I'm like, I look up to this person. I cannot believe I'm getting to interview them right now.
That's how it's always been for me, and I've been very lucky to have sat in the room with some really fabulous people over the course of my life. And it's, and it's the most amazing thing, especially when there's an engagement, just like with us, you know what I mean? Like, there's an actual engagement.
We made a relationship while we were both working in the Marquee, and having your own show, you can cultivate those relationships, you can build a sense of community. And I'm a part of the Broadway Podcast Network, and they were doing an event at Podfest during 2021, so it was virtual. So I spoke on behalf of the Broadway Podcast Network, and my husband was on the Podfest side. Like, he was helping run the event. That's how we met. I'm like, I would have never guessed, of all the things, that I was going to meet my husband by chance. Like, Keith, I was plotting, scheming. I'm like, how am I going to meet my man? I'm going to drop the hanky, and the right guy will pick up the hanky.
Yes, honey. I still do that. Anyway, so sadly, they're not picking it up. But I'm just saying, I still try. It's a college try.
You never know. But yeah, it's like when you have something in your spirit, you say yes and you just keep saying yes
Right.
while the passion is leading you, and you don't have to know where it's going. You don't have to know what the end all be all is. You just, if it's a yes in your spirit,
Hmm.
just keep being curious. And it
Yeah.
can lead you into some wild places. And that's what I have found. And that's kind of in the space I'm in right now. So I'm like, you're asking me what I want to do next. I'm like, you know what? I'm in this is the space
I
I'm
just
in.
want to put on my pajamas and sit here and talk. That's what I want to do. Let me put on my
Right?
PJs and get comfy.
And talk to my friends.
Exactly. Well, how groovy is that? So, oh, that means, you know, you could throw a bitch a bone and do like a 54 below. That's what Gabby well, she was at the Chelsea Square. Y'all could get y'all, I would love to see a princess reunion
Oh.
with y'all ladies doing the songs that y'all want to do.
Oh.
Hello, hello, hello. And I will host because I that's what I do. But I would love that. A Prince's reunion with
Oh.
you and Aisha and Gabby and oh my God, who was the
Ashley
mermaid?
Chu,
Ash
Lauren Zacharin, Briga Heelan,
Miss
Diana
Brigham.
Vaden. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that would be so fun. Put
Mm-hmm.
things out into the world. You never know.
You never
Gabrielle
know.
Beckford, you were talking about hers at Chelsea
Yes.
Table and Stage. I produced that and it was beautiful. She was a dream.
I saw those that coming down those stairs. I was like, ooh, that's a
Honey,
lot of
okay?
stairs. Boom. That's all I kept
Listen.
thinking.
Yeah, it really,
What?
we love each other so much. It really was a special group.
It
Ugh.
was. It was. And it was so nice because that not only spilled out to, amongst you guys, but it also spilled out to us when we were working in the house because we like you understood, you guys knew that we, especially as of where we are, we're we're like the first promoters of that show before anybody
Mm.
walks in, because I don't, how many times people ask me how is so and so in Sweeney Todd, how all
Oh.
these other things are, like I get asked those questions all the time, and we do as front of house. And so, we are the biggest cheerleaders, and it's so easy to be cheerleaders when we look up on the stage and we're like, oh my God, you better work, Salish, girl. You know what I'm saying? When my cute man during the boys number would do his Harlem Shake, and you'd hear me going,
Listen.
"You." It's like that was me in the back doing that then. So you
It was
know,
always so supportive and like, oh, it really did mean a lot. Like seeing you guys if I wasn't on stage, seeing you
mhm,
guys in the house, or even if I was on stage doing an emergency rehearsal before the show for
mhm.
who God knows
Whoever
what.
left, who got COVID this week?
Right. Seeing you guys in the audience cheering us on. It's just like really
Yeah, because and here is the night that, of course, she has written about, she has talked about, but very rare has she had those of us who were there to witness the moment happen. Besides the folks on stage, but they were all working, so they didn't have an opportunity to
working.
sit in the room and watch Salish go on for the lead Cinderella playing this and haven't had no rehearsal. Like literally, they called her the night before and said, "Hey, guess what? You're doing it. We're on tomorrow. Can't wait to see you. Kisses."
Matinee on
Matinee, honey. You
tomorrow.
you don't even get like a full 12 hours of oh my God, oh my God. You have to just
They
pull
told
that
me at
ish together.
midnight.
Pull it
Yes.
that ish together, sis. And I gotta tell you, when that moment when you came for your curtain call, all of us, every one of us in the house, all of us up in the mez, all the way down, we were screaming for you, because we knew what had happened and we knew what that was like. And girl, you turned it. What did you do? Like went up on one line the whole time, and you were just like, I can't believe I
Oh
did
my
that. And I
God.
was like, girl, that's the one thing you worried about?
Oh
You
my
sang all the damn
God.
songs and stuff, girl. You better
That
pull it
one
together.
line. I was like, America, America. What is this freaking line? But you know what? I could feel that love during the curtain call. I was bawling. I was like, this poor audience who does not know what's going
No
on. They're like,
clue.
why is Cinderella dramatic and crying during bows?
Her role was already dramatic enough. Why's she crying? Why's she
Crying.
crying?
I'm like, y'all don't know what I've been
Went
through.
to be here today, Lord. You know, like
Y'all
you just
You don't know what I've been through, what this whole cast has been through. This has been
trying
a
to pull us
trauma
together.
bonding day.
But you know what? I think that's one of the things about that show, for at least for those of us who got to watch it as much as we did, that we felt all of that connection. Like y'all were like, okay, we are all here together.
We got each other's back.
We got your backs. And I'm telling you, baby, that choreographer, ooh, I had to pull him to the side and I looked at him and I said, I just want to say something to you. Hi, I'm Keith. I'm an usher. Hi. You got these children up here working for points.
Listen,
Baby,
yes, they
just-
caught a lot of us crying in corners, and I thought I was the only one. I was not the only one crying in a corner in rehearsal. I'm like, y'all, this is hard. They're like, we know this is hard. We are aware. Feel your feelings. Give yourself some grace.
Give yourself some grace, baby. Because let me tell you something. And it was funny too, because my thought at the time was, I wish that you guys had been in a Tony eligibility place, because I think Some Like It Hot was popping. It just started or something. Yeah, it had just started. And there were, conversations about what was going on with that show and yada, yada, yada. And when I saw the choreography in that show, and then I compared, people were like, well, what did you think of the choreography in this show? And I said, there's no comparison. They are both individually the fiercest rounds of choreography you'll ever see. One is very, tap heavy, traditional, old style musical comedy, which I lived for.
Like golden age.
Oh my God, I lived for every tickety tick tack tap. I lived for it all.
Yeah.
But what you guys were doing, in this show, baby, them hands and the thing and the whip and the flow and every note. And I said to him at one point, I said, it's like, you don't leave one beat untouched. It was like every beat of that song, every lyric, every word had a movement. And I was like, ooh, if you like me dropping lyrics, honey, you'd be lost in that choreography.
You will be lost. If you mess up one part, good luck.
Done.
Good luck getting
and I
back
kept
on.
thinking, wow, but I mean, and for someone like you who didn't have to, you did not learn like 75 other different people's choreography.
Not 75.
Like, it was ridiculous. Who is she tonight? We would always look at each other when we get the inserts, like, who is she tonight?
Yeah,
she's gonna be somebody tonight. I think my
know.
favorite, that was when you were one of the stepsisters. That was my favorite. My favorite line from that show is still always going to be, sorry about your mom. You smell like pumpkin.
Sorry about your mom.
Sorry about your mom, Cinderella. It's terrible. She died.
Oh my gosh, that was awful.
But it was so many great moments in that show. And so, again, Salisha's got things to do. I gotta get to Sweeney.
Yes. Oh yeah.
But at the same time, I just want everyone to know that this young woman, along with a lot of other people that hopefully you're going to meet when I continue on to this process of getting folks to come do the show, if you don't already know their work, I hope that you take the time and investigate and figure out who these people are. Because let me tell you something, this young woman, if there's ever been a statement for the word GOAT, when you talk about the greatest of all times when it comes to being a swing standby, this young woman better get an award or a nomination or something. Your school, whatever acting school you went to, they need to come here and give you a plaque or something. Because baby, you worked it out. And you showed not only that you can do it, even though it was like chaotic and crazy, you showed and proved that you could do it. Which means that even though you're thinking about doing something different, and I'm really sure when that happens, at the same time, know that you can bring so many different things into this. Like, I'm ready for you to sing some jazz. I'm ready for you to explore that other side of performing. Maybe keep it cabaret cute. That way you can still put the kids to bed and do a show and be home.
Yeah.
Just saying. So everyone, please, 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 please find my friend Salisha Thomas. find her Instagram. You can see, if you're watching this, you will see that her website has been running across the screen all evening. So please find her, dig up whatever you can. We need to figure out how to get this cast recording shit happen. And I'm still mad about that, but we're going to make it happen. But I tell you, you will be thrilled. Not only that, she's got 5,000 podcasts. But she's out, she's about, and she's doing it. And I'm just so glad. Thank you for taking this time to hang out with me. I miss you so much. I miss you guys so much. We talk about that all the time, all of us. When we get together, all of our marquee ushers, when we come together in one spot, we're like, you remember how much fun that show was?
Oh, Keith, thank you so much. And thank you for having me. I feel honored to be your second guest.
Oh, and let's talk about that Princess Night Out.
Oh, yes. Thank you for that idea. That's a great idea. I can definitely.
I would come to see that, and then I can get all of y'all together. And we can do like a big Brady Bunchy kind of thing on the net. It'll be fun. All right. I love you, my darling. I love you. I love you. I love you. Take care of yourself. And everybody find her. It's Miss Salisha Thomas Weiss. She's out and about, hunty, giving it to you. I love it. Take care.